Indiana Fever let 106 points get dropped on their heads by the Los Angeles Sparks tonight. Yes, the Los Angeles Sparks. Caitlin Clark does not look good out there. It looks like she's playing through something. Sophie Cunningham was in and out with back spasms, and with Aaliyah Boston missing, they were utterly destroyed in the paint. Let's dive in. Not able to take a real stand in the paint. They absolutely got destroyed in the paint. 60 points to 38 by the Sparks. And listen, no shade to the Sparks or anything, but the Sparks are sans Cameron Brink. They are sans Kelsey Plum, who has been pretty much their offensive engine for the whole season. It was everybody. Caitlin Clark herself got 4 turnovers in 16 minutes, but the points conceded off of those turnovers for Indiana was 22 points to the Sparks 8. And Indiana lost this game by, 14 points? Yeah, 14 points. Wow. Is my math right? Yeah, 14 points. Jeez. Which actually just so happens to be the difference in the points conceded in the two teams. Over turnovers, that is. But it was just sloppy everywhere. And again, I really do chalk it up to a lot of those coaching rotations. I don't know what Steph White was thinking with a lot of this stuff. And yes, I know she was put in between a rock and a hard place, having Caitlin like barely in. And when she was in, she was definitely playing through something. I almost think they should have just kept her out for this game, because whatever it is did seem to 20 points if you double that. But I swear Stephanie White has to get the shot mechanics right on this team. There are wide open 2-foot layups being missed consistently. And I like Mo. I like her as a player, but her shot mechanics on her layups, they just make me angry sometimes.
Welcome back to WNBA Trends, where we break down what really happened behind the headlines. The Fever lost to the Sparks 106-92 tonight, and if you only look at the score, you might think it was just a bad game, but the real story is so much more specific than that. One single stat decided this entire game, point for point, and it has absolutely nothing to do with who was the better team. Here's what went sideways. Caitlin Clark was clearly dealing with something physical, not a usual performance dip, something legitimately wrong. She was getting subbed every 90 seconds to 2 minutes all night. That's not a coaching philosophy. That's damage control in real time. Aaliyah Boston didn't even suit up. Sophie Cunningham was playing through back spasms, and against a short-handed Sparks team without Kelsey Plum or Cameron Brink, Indiana still got absolutely destroyed in the paint, 60 points to 38. That right there should alarm Fever fans more than the final score. But here's the number that actually decided this game. The Sparks scored 22 points off Indiana turnovers. The Fever, 8. Do the math. 22 minus 8 equals 14. That's exactly what Indiana lost by. Every single extra possession Los Angeles created from a giveaway converted directly into the deficit, not metaphorically, point for point. It's the entire game right there in one stat.
18 minutes. And Kelsey Mitchell, she wasn't hitting anything in the paint either. She was like throwing up chaotic layups, missing them, but she still dropped 29 points because how many threes did she hit? She hit 5 threes in this game. She went 5 for 9 at the 3-point line. She just wasn't very good on 12 points. The problem with Damaris Dantas is she is slow as molasses and everyone blows by her. But what was so crazy is the fast break points that the Sparks were making. They made 27 fast break points to the Indiana Fever's 4 points, 4 fast break points. And I'm just going to reiterate, this system is just very, I don't know. When it's good, but it's not good for Caitlin Clark, in my humble opinion. I don't think this system is built for Caitlin. I think this team looks a lot more fun when Caitlin has the keys, and I don't necessarily think Steph White is a bad coach, but her system and Caitlin Clark's system don't align, and sense was just terrible tonight. They were allowing the Sparks, who were not playing great, they allowed Ray Burrell to come out with 22 points. Ray Burrell. And again, Steele also, and if there's one thing that I will always know is that I don't think they will ever do the freedom of movement calls for Caitlin fully, really, because there were definitely a couple of fouls on her, but those fouls, even if they had called them, would not save this game.
Now, here's the part that's worth sitting with. This game exposed something that's been building for weeks about how Caitlin Clark is being officiated. There were fouls that didn't get called, but let's be honest, this specific game wasn't decided by the whistle. It was decided by turnovers and a paint that got completely overrun. That's just facts. Would those missed calls have changed the outcome? No, almost certainly not. But the broader conversation about how Clark gets protected on the court, that's something different. That's something the league already acknowledged getting wrong 2 weeks ago when Alyssa Thomas connected with Clark's throat and they didn't call it live. Days later, the league upgraded it to a flagrant 2 and suspended Thomas. So when fans see more contact go uncalled tonight, it lands differently. There's precedent now. And this whole thing just got bigger. According to reports, a group of Republican lawmakers sent a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelbert this week asking how the league protects Clark from physical contact. The Fever organization immediately distanced itself publicly, saying neither the team nor Clark had any involvement or knowledge of that letter. None of that changes the score. Turnovers and the paint did that on their own. But it does show how far this conversation has traveled beyond just basketball. Dana Bonner, who played for Indiana last season and now plays for Phoenix, spoke out this week about harassment she's received online since this whole thing escalated. So this conversation has real consequences for more than just Caitlin Clark. Here's what matters going forward. Caitlin Clark is ruled out for tomorrow's back-to-back against the Mercury. That's the right call, no debate needed. Aaliyah Boston is expected back, which should fix the paint problem that got exposed so badly tonight. But one bad night where a team is banged up and playing sloppy isn't enough to say a system is broken. Teams have nights like this. The question worth asking is different. Is tonight a one-off for an injured roster, or is it the first real crack showing in a system that still isn't fully built around its own best player? Because if it's the second one, that's a conversation that doesn't end when the buzzer sounds. That's a conversation that follows this team into the offseason and forces the front office to choose. Does the roster change around the system, or does the system change around the roster? Indiana hasn't committed either way yet. Structure on most nights, freedom in flashes, and that middle ground works until it doesn't. Tonight, it didn't. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a one-game blip or something deeper? Like and subscribe for the full breakdown of tomorrow's back-to-back and how this team responds.
Game. They do play tomorrow in a back-to-back, and Caitlin Clark will not be playing in that game. Very glad she's not going to be playing. Really want her to rest up. Don't know what's wrong with her, but I do think something's going on. Aaliyah Boston will be back, and they will be playing the Mercury, so we will see, especially after multiple members of Congress have signed a petition calling out Kathy Engelbert on the treatment of Caitlin Clark, and Dewana Bonner herself had a reaction to it.